Happy Winter Circle Wednesday. Today is September 4th, 9:15 in the morning, and we're getting ready to cover the entire listing my entire listing presentation on what it is that I do from start to finish. And Cherish, if you can help me mute everyone else, please. Make co-host. Here we go. Boom. Made you co-host. And I'm trying to make you, how do I pin you? 1 second, team. Give me 1 second. Let me get everyone situated before we get started. Thank you for being patient with me. Remove spotlight. Let's see here. Bam. Where's my love? Okay, there you are. Spotlight for everyone. Where'd she go? There you are. At spotlight. All right, babe. You should have co-host abilities. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes, got it.
Good Perfect. Morning. Hello, wife.
Hello.
All right. Your camera looks a little blurry.
I know. I connected to this webcam, but it's like not very nice. I thought I was upgrading, guys.
Do you have like a light maybe you can add in front of it?
Let me see.
You're fine, babe. Don't worry about it. You look beautiful. You're good. You look fine. So let's go back from the top. I want to give you guys some context. When I first got started in the real estate space, I thought that a listing presentation was this extreme formal proposal that you had to take a client through. And in some instances, it will be. In some instances, they just want to sit down and they want to hear everything you have to say. In some instances, I've never had to open my iPad. I've never had to open my PDF. I've never had to open my packet with a client. In some instances, I've had to open it a little bit and answer a few questions. And in other instances, it was just a dialogue. So the listing proposal or the presentation aspect of it, it's going to change depending on what the client's needs are. I don't want you thinking that you have to go into every single presentation the same. So then the question becomes, well, Gabe, how do I know what the scenario is going to be? How do I know if this is going to require an entire presentation? Like, let me ask all of you guys a question. Drop it inside of the chat. Have you guys ever gone on a presentation, or do you feel like when you go on a presentation that you have to give this elaborate explanation of your company and your accolades and your marketing plan, and you have to do everything A to Z and explain every single step? Drop it in the chat down below. Let me know. Have you ever gone to a listing presentation where you thought you had to do that, or is that what you think it is? Drop it down in the chat below. I'm curious to see how many people think that's what that is. Some say no, 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 no. Perfect. All right. We have a lot of experts here. It's great. So it's true. It's not. It's not what it is. The listing proposal is finding out what the client's needs are. And what I found out in the very beginning was I've gone to, now let me ask you the other side of that question. How many of you have gone to the presentation thinking you had to do that and you've never had to open it? You just talked to them, answered some questions, and then ended up signing it. And you were like, wow, that was easier than I thought. How many of you guys ended up doing that? Drop it in the chat below. Yes, 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 sir. Yes, yes, me.
Wow, Jose said I've only used the listing presentation 2 times in 7 years. That's wild.
Wow. Yeah, same Jose, same exact thing. I don't really use it at all, brother. So that's the interesting part. So listen to this. I practiced with the most difficult person in my career before I got started. And there's an interesting quote, and it goes like this. It says, amateurs practice until they get it right. Professionals practice until they can't get it wrong. Amateurs practice until they get it right. Professionals practice until they can't get it wrong. So my question to all of you, how many at-bats are you doing? How many practice swings are you taking? How many times are you actually sitting down having a mock presentation? If you're not doing that, that's something that you guys have to start doing. So what does that look like? When I first got started, I obsessed over listing presentations. And the most comical listing presentations that I had ever watched were from my old friend, good guy. And he was very difficult. He was very traditional Mike Ferry style, hard closing, go for the close 7 times. And although that might've worked at one point in time, demographics change, people change, the times change, and you try to hard close someone today, it's just not going to work. They're going to put their foot down and say no. So I practice with the most difficult person in the world, which is my mother. She's a very analytical person. She's not a salesperson. Anyone tries to sell her or close her, her guard is up. She's a single mother from Mexico. So of course her guard has to be up, educated lady. And I remember I would knock on the door and she would look at me, a 27-year-old Hispanic boy, and I would say, Mother, I need you to grill me. I need you to call everything out, from how quickly I'm speaking to my mannerisms. I need you to call me out on the way I'm talking, on everything that I do. I need you to overanalyze me and let me know what it is that I did that turned you off. And we would sit there and we'd go at bat, at bat, at bat, multiple times where I'd knock on the door and she'd go, no, I didn't like the way you said this. We'd sit down at the table. You're fidgeting too much. We'd engage in conversation. You're talking too fast. And she'd little by little start coaching me through these things until I finally sold my mom and I closed her. And she was like, I trust you now. Now I believe in you. So when I could convince the most difficult person that I knew to sell, to hire me to sell their home, when I started going out and sitting in front of people, it was the most easiest thing in the entire world. Now, it wasn't that simple. I didn't just practice with my mother, but it also took communication skills. Now, I'll tell you this, knowing how to communicate and knowing how to present are two different skills. It's two different skill sets. Knowing how to communicate and knowing how to present are two different skills. Do you know how to present information in a way that your consumer can relate to it? They feel safe with you. They understand what you're saying. Or do you have a difficult time conveying a simple message? Do you find yourself having to repeat information? Do you find yourself overselling a point just to get the point across? If these are things that you're struggling with, then these are things that I want you to be fully aware of. And how would you become fully aware of them? You practice. Remember, amateurs practice until they get it right. Professionals practice until they can't get it wrong. And let me tell you, I can't get it wrong. I had a homeowner call me 3 days ago or 2 days ago when I was at the office. Sunday, I was at the office. Sunday, I was in gray sweatpants, a white t-shirt, and some chanclas, and I was rocking a hat. And he was blowing me up, and I thought it was fake. I called him up. He was like, I'm the owner of the house. I want to sell my home. How fast can you be here? I said, I can be there in 20 minutes, but I'm in chanclas, bro. He was like, say less, just come on over. $1.3 million house. This is a true story. You can ask Rashad. He was there with me the entire time. And we both drove to his house. I didn't need anything because I was prepared. I showed up to his home. I presented everything. I ran the sales comparables in front of him. I offered my marketing proposal, and he didn't sign on the dot, understandably. That's okay. But the point was this: I was ready at that moment. And I'll send you the screenshots where he's like, dude, you did an awesome job. I'm more than likely going to move forward with you. I just don't know if I want to sell at this point. I wanted to have an opportunity to discuss some items. Now look at, the only way that you can do that is if you're prepared. And today we're going to talk about preparation. What you need to have in your listing presentation. What steps should you be taking? How to stay organized at a high level. In the last 5 years, I've had the honor of helping over 250 families. Majority of those are listings now. I take about 3 listings per month on average. I take no less than 3% on the list side. On average, it's about 4%. And I offer 2% to the other side. Now, some people might say, oh, Gabe, you should offer 0.5% more to the other side. Now, that's a business preference, in my opinion. Are you worth what you say you're worth? I'll tell you this. I make it very easy for buyers agents to purchase my listings. I make it very easy for you. I take really nice photos. I prep my seller and I ask them to clean the home, spray air freshener, clean the landscaping, paint the walls, so that when your buyer walks through those doors, they have no objections that you have to handle. I've made it easy for the buyer's agents to sell my listings. So I'm just going to give you 2% for walking them in there and writing the contract. But I've already handled all the objections for you. I've done the pre-listing inspections. I know what's going to come up. I've done all the hard work up front. So when it's time to sell, you have a slam dunk deal. So my encouragement to all of you out there is create your value by mastering the process, building your confidence, practicing, and then going out there and implementing what we're getting ready to teach you today. So with that said, my love, let's go ahead and get started with everything. I'm going to share my screen. Let me make sure there's no questions here. Boom. Yes. Fire emojis. Absolutely. Love it. Babe, we have people in the waiting room. Can you help me out with that, please?
Yes.
Thank you, my love. All right. Let's get started sharing my screen. Perfect. All right, babe. Question for you.
Yes. Answer.
All right. I have a phone call that comes in for a lead, or the first step is I get a phone call or a text message or something. Right now, we're getting ready to talk about inbound lead, but this applies to both inbound leads, people who come to you, and then people you meet at open houses. But emphasis on people who are coming to you. Someone messages me today and they say, "Hey, Gabe, I'm thinking about selling my home." The very first step is you have a phone call with them. Let me open this up. Can you guys see this?
Yes.
Yep. All right. I want you guys to go ahead and take a screenshot. Everyone out there, go ahead and take a screenshot. Take a screenshot, please. Go ahead. Take a screenshot. I want you guys to take a screenshot of this. This is our entire listing procedure. This is everything that we do to sell properties in 2024. Take a screenshot, team. Take a screenshot. All right. Denise says, hands up emoji. Let's go. Let's grow. All right. I'm going to practice. Now, let me ask you guys a question. How many of you, if you receive a phone call right now, have at least 5 questions that you can ask any homeowner that will at least add value to the conversation and position you as the authority and the expert? How many of you, drop it in the chat, if a homeowner were to call you, you have at least 3 to 5 questions that you can ask that make you sound like you know what you're doing and position you as the authority? Or a better question, how many of you don't? That's okay if you don't. Drop it in the chat too. I need to know exactly because I want to spend some time on this. How many of you do not have at least 3 to 5 questions that you can ask a homeowner to position you as an authority? Drop it in the chat if you do not. Stephanie says me. Thank you, Stephanie. Who does not? Help me, Gabe. Appreciate you, Greg. Thank you. We have a couple. I like the crowd today. We have a pretty solid crowd today, babe. Denise says me. Marco says me. I want you guys to go ahead and screenshot this. This is the inbound lead conversions. This is the inbound listing lead script. This is this conversation that I train all my agents on. This is the conversation that you have to have. And my love, will you role play with me?
Yes.
All right, babe. You're going to be the homeowner who's calling me. And we're going to have or you sent me a text, you sent me a direct message on Facebook, on Instagram, you called me on a sign or something like that. You got referred over to me. You're just someone who contacted me about wanting to sell the house. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You're not a cold lead. You're not someone I door knocked. You're not someone I cold called. You're just someone who got referred over to me, saw me on social media.
Okay.
Something like that. All right. Ring, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello, Cherish.
Yes. Who's speaking?
This is Gabe Mendez. How's it going?
Oh, it's going well. Thank you. How's it going?
It's going good over here. Just enjoying this nice air conditioner inside of the office. What about you guys?
Oh, same. It's so hot outside.
That's awesome. Well, hey, listen, I got your message on Facebook or Instagram, or Susie sent it over to me, or you called me and left me a voice message. You guys mentioned that you had some plans on moving in the near future. Can you tell me a little more about your plans and why you guys are considering moving?
Yes, that is the plan. Everything just seems so expensive. So my husband and I were just talking, and we feel like maybe it's time to pack everything up. We felt called to leave California actually, and we might want to move to Texas. We have family over there, so the move would be ideal for us to go there. But that's obviously also if the numbers and everything work out.
Got it. So it sounds like you guys are considering moving. You don't need to move. It sounds like you want to move. And if you do, you guys want to move to Texas as long as all the numbers make sense. Is that right?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Awesome. Well, Ms. Cherish, I just have a couple of quick questions to ask you. I just want to find out a little more about your situation. First question I have for you, what's your current home address?
It is 1523 Main Street.
Yeah, don't be giving your mom's address away.
I know, I almost did, sorry. That's why I changed it, Main Street.
I heard the 1523. I'm
I
like,
know,
don't be telling these people on Zoom, okay?
I know,
All right.
okay, okay.
Let's get back on script. Let's get
Yes.
back on.
It's 1523 Main Street.
Okay, perfect. And then what's your current loan balance?
Currently 543 and some change, I believe.
153 and some change. Okay. And do you have any HOA at the house or a second HOA? And if you do, how much?
Yes, we have one HOA and I believe that's 230 per month.
Okay, 230 per month. Perfect. And do you have any additional liens on the home? Like a solar
No.
lien or HVAC lien, anything like that?
No.
Perfect. And last question for you, is this a primary or investment property?
This is primary.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Cherish. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to prepare some preliminary information for you, which will include an estimate of your home, what your home is worth, how much equity you have in your home, and the home selling process, which includes our proposal. Does that sound good? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Oh, I couldn't hear you there for a second.
Yes, that sounds good.
Let me do that again so it flows a little more smoothly. Here's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to prepare some preliminary information for you, which will include an estimate of what your home is worth, how much equity you have in your home, and the home selling process, including our proposal. Sound good?
Yes. Would that be sent to me or how would I get that?
Yeah, I'm going to take your email in a quick second and your phone number. Are you and your husband available to meet tentatively? I know you have to have a conversation with them, but can we schedule something tentatively for maybe after hours, after work hours at your house to go over everything?
I think that would be okay. He gets off work. Well, he's kind of all over the place, but I think that would tomorrow, we're available tomorrow after 5.
Tomorrow after 5. Perfect. So we'll schedule some. Well, how about let's do this? It'll take me at least 24 hours to get everything prepared, and I want you guys to have an opportunity to review it. So can we schedule it for, let's say, 3 days from now?
3 days from now. Yes, that should be fine.
Okay. So let's tentatively schedule this appointment for Friday at 5:30 p.m. And what I'll do, I'm going to email you some information tomorrow afternoon. I'd like for you to review it. And then come Thursday, I'm going to give you one more call to ask you some few more questions before I come out there on Friday. Sound good?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, Ms. Cherish. And then last question, what's your email address?
It's cherish
Perfect.
at gmail.com.
Perfect. Got it. Awesome, Cherish. Well, hey, listen, it was awesome talking to you. I'll get this information started and I look forward to seeing your husband at 5:30 on Friday.
Amazing. Thank you for
All right.
calling.
Thank you. All right, pause there for a second, team. Now, let me share something with you guys. When you're talking to a homeowner, it's very important that you establish yourself as what's called an ACE, or better yet, just as an authority and as an expert. Whenever you're speaking to a homeowner. Now, it's going to be very easy for you if you have clients that you're working with that already know, like, and trust you. But what if in the event that phone call ends up being someone that doesn't know you, doesn't like you, and a little they trust you? I'll tell you this from my career. There's been times where I've taken leads and referrals for granted. I've dropped the ball. I thought I had it in the bag. I thought I could just half A it, and I did, and I ended up losing it. So how many of you guys in the group chat can relate to that, where you thought you've had it in the bag and you ended up dropping it? They didn't sign with you. You thought it went well. You went there. They said they're going to think about it, and boom, it didn't go well, and they ended up going with someone else. Or maybe you just took it for granted. You didn't bring your A game. I know for a fact it's happened to me a few times. So what I'm telling you is anytime you have a conversation with anyone, friends, family, clients, everyone wants to be treated to a certain level of professionalism. And it's always important with someone that you don't know that you establish yourself as the authority, as the expert. Having a set series of questions that you can ask shows the prospect that they're in good hands. I'll give you a prime example. Let me ask Greg, let me ask you a question, brother. If you were to go to you have background in the financial industry. Let me ask you a question. If before yourself got into the financial industry, Greg, and you ended up going to someone else in the financial industry, and you were asked, let's just say you guys were having conversation, they're trying to earn your business to invest your money, and you're having a conversation with this financial expert, and when you get on the phone call, it's a lot of rapport building. You guys are having a good time, but they fail to ask you questions about your financial background. And then Greg, have to be the person that asks them, well, hey, I make this much. This is what I do. What do you recommend? How would you feel if that financial advisor, that person that you're leaning on, does not ask you fact-finding questions to come to a solution? How would you feel if they did not have those questions set in place and they just try to offer some solution out of nowhere? Would you feel like they have the best care for you? Would you feel like you're in great hands, or would you feel the opposite?
No, opposite. It'd be slippery. I wouldn't put no trust in him, no confidence.
But what if that person that you talked to in the financial industry didn't rapport build with you, but in fact, what they did was, all right, Greg, I want to respect your time. I appreciate for having me on the call today. I do have a series of questions to kind of review your financial portfolio. I first want to start off by asking you, are you W-2 or 1099? Do you earn this much or do you earn that much? Do you have any investments outside of work or within work? Do you have any stock portfolios or anything like that? Do you have life insurance? Maybe they didn't report bills with you, but they had a series of questions that it went right into. Would you appreciate that more, having the questions prepared as a professional, or would you appreciate the other relationship more?
No, definitely. I would know, man. This guy knows what he's talking about. I trust you. Yeah.
That's my point, team. That's my point. The relationship will only get you so far. It's important that you establish that authority and expertise right off the bat. So these questions that you ask, you need to have those 5 questions ready to ask at any time. Even if you are a newer agent and you ask these questions, you're already 90% ahead and you're in an excellent position. Remember, he who asks the questions controls the conversation. He who asks the questions controls the conversation. You want to control the conversation? Ask really good questions. Okay, let's get back to it. And my love, if I'm missing any questions down below, please let me know.
Yes, Jose has a question. I want to know if you want to do that now.
Yeah.
Jose said, Gabe, I'd like to hear the objection handler when a homeowner asks, why do you need all this information?
So I have probably had an objection handler at that preliminary information right off the bat very few times. But it's important to remember this. In the scenario where a client is coming to you to fact find about buying a home, you have to make sure that you help them understand the reason behind everything. Objections are nothing more than this. Remember this, team. Objections are no more than unanswered questions. There's a fear that I have. There's a fear that I have. There's something that you haven't quite helped me understand. So when the objection comes up, remember, don't get in defense mode and start thinking that I have to Tom Ferry, Mike Ferry, Brian Buffini my way out of it. That's the wrong way to do sales in 2024. If someone asks, the greatest teacher in the world, Jesus Christ, said that people learn through parables. So throughout the entire Bible, he talks about teaching through parables. And this is what I do when I'm talking to homeowners who ask me questions, or AKA objections, during the process. When someone asks me, hey, Gabe, why do you need all this information? The reason I need this information is I can help create the makeup of your file. I need to understand how much you have. I need to understand how long you've been there. There's tax implications. There's laws that apply to you. There's even tax savings that come to your way. But I can't give you a thorough answer unless I have these questions answered so I can provide you a full answer. Let's say you have someone who's very adamant, a very high D personality. Gabe, why do you need this information? I don't want to share this with you. I'd say something like this. If they're a D personality, very direct, I might say to them, you know, Cherish, or you know what, Jose, that's a really good question. Let me give you an analogy that might help us understand the situation a little better. You've been to the doctor before, right? I go back into asking questions. And let's role play this, Cherish. Cherish, I want you to say to me, Gabe, why do you need all this information? Go ahead, ask me.
Okay. I'm sorry. Why do you need all of this information?
Really good question, Ms. Cherish. Better way to help you understand why we need it. Let me paint a picture for you. Quick question for you. You've been to the doctor before, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And I'm sure you've gone to the doctor before because you've been sick or there was something that hurt, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Would you feel comfortable with your doctor prescribing you medication or authorizing surgery without running x-rays, MRIs, or blood work?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay, I know. It sounds a little silly, I know, but thank you for answering the question. The reason I say that is because it's very difficult for myself as a real estate professional to offer a true proposal, a true plan for you without understanding your MRI, x-rays, or your blood work, AKA your loan balance, your tax implications, your financial background. In order for me to give you an accurate answer, an accurate proposal, I have to understand the entire background. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. So team, it's very important that you guys understand that most people learn through parables. They learn through analogies. They learn through stories. So the way that I always paint pictures across to other people is I just flip the script and I put it in a scenario or an analogy they'll understand. Everyone's gone to the doctor before. I'll tell you this. If the doctor told me, hey, Gabe, I'm going to go ahead and prescribe you this medication, or if I say, hey, doctor, my knee hurts, say less. You got surgery tomorrow at 3 p.m. We're going to cut you open and fix that ACL. I'm like, bro, you haven't even run an MRI to see if anything's torn or broken. Well, what do you real estate agents do the moment a homeowner calls you? Hey, we want to sell our home. Say less. I'm going to go perform surgery tomorrow. I'll be there at 5 p.m. How are you going to perform surgery if you hadn't even done the MRI, X-ray, or the blood work? And then you guys are walking into the doctor's office. You guys are walking into the surgery room unprepared for surgery, unprepared for battle, unprepared to offer the best. Do you understand a homeowner would respect you more by pushing the appointment 3 days out so you have time to plan than rushing it and coming unprepared? They would look at you like the professional. Let me say this differently. If you want homeowners to respect you and that you want them to look at you like the authority figure, it's really important that you take control. True or true, when you call the doctor's office, true or true, when you call them to schedule an appointment, they do not stop everything they are doing to accommodate your needs. True or true? They do not. They say our next availability is in 2 weeks. And then when you show up to the doctor's office, before you do a new doctor's office, they hand you an intake form and they say, please fill this out. And here we are, we fill everything out and blood type and we do all that stuff. And we hand it back over to the receptionist. She says, go sit your butt down in the chair. We'll call you back when we're ready. And then here you go sit down and do it again. Mm-hmm. Same thing with the attorney. You go visit an attorney. I'm not available for another week. My secretary is going to email this over to you. I need you to fill out this entire application so we understand you before you walk into my office. And what do? We fill it out, we email it back over, and we show up at the scheduled time. CPA, financial advisors. I can't meet with you until you fill out your entire financial pro forma. I need to know exactly what you have inside of your portfolio. I can't meet with you until this is done. But real estate agents, for some reason, we feel that it's okay to go ahead and rush the entire process and show up at the client's home without getting a financial file, a financial portfolio to assess their situation properly. You need to have your intake questions. You need to have them wait. You need to make sure that you're planning properly. Because remember, this is how society has been trained. Society has been trained for the client to respect the authority. Ever since we were little, we've been programmed mentally to raise our hand in classrooms. Ever since we were little, we were told to stay quiet until spoken to. Ever since we've been adults, we've had to follow protocol at the doctors, the CPA, the attorney. This is just how it goes. And for some reason, real estate agents, the reason it's so easy for me to look like a professional is because I hold myself to a higher standard. And because I see myself higher than I am, I act higher than I am. And the clients love that confidence. So I want all of you to adopt the same behavior. Treat your business like a business. Have respect for yourself as a professional. Make sure that they understand that you are in charge and they're in excellent hands. And it's not on their terms, it's on terms that work for both of you. Hey, listen, in order for me to give you an accurate answer, I can't just go inside of that kneecap and cut it open and start working on it. I have to get your blood work. I have to get your MRI. And I'm going to tell you something, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner. If there's another real estate agent willing to meet with you sooner than me, 24 hours or even same day, and they weren't able to prepare a full proposal and have everything ready for you, I'd be a little worried. That's almost like you going to the doctor's office and saying, hey, cut my knee open because it hurts. A real good doctor would say, no, that's malpractice. I'm going to sit here and take you through my protocol first. Let's go back. My love, are you looking at the messages? I can't.
Yes, Jose said, I actually really like that better. Objections are just unanswered questions. I think many of us for years have been used to the word objection, that it's a great thing to start changing the mindset behind the word.
Absolutely. Remember, objections are nothing more than unanswered questions. Mm-hmm. If someone asks you a question about something, all it means is they didn't truly understand what you were saying. You didn't articulate it clearly enough. You didn't answer that question in your presentation. And in a moment, I'm going to show all of you how to get ahead of all objections so that you don't deal with objections at the kitchen table. If you guys would like to learn how to handle these objections up front and not at the kitchen table, drop it in the chat. Let me know if you guys are interested in doing that. Otherwise, we can just kind of skim through it. Just looked at the time. That's why I'm asking. So if you guys can help me out. No table, he says. Love it, brother. No table, man. I love it. Okay. Only one person. All right. So Greg, I'll share it with you later, brother. We'll go through the rest really fast.
And Denise, we'll share it with Denise, just those two.
All right. All right. Okay.
And Hector. Said and me.
Okay, my love.
Yes.
I have someone who calls me and they want to sell their home. I have the conversation. What happens next?
Next, we begin the preparation for you to go on the listing appointment. So me on the back end as admin or whoever we have in the admin position will start to prepare everything that you need. So the contracts, we'll need to obviously first start by getting information from you. What's the address, which you usually will give to us upfront. You'll give us the address, the loan balance, what commission you want to charge. You'll provide us with the comparables, and then we'll go in, create the contract. We'll create all of the listing forms that are needed, which is the SELM and all the new forms that are needed. And then
No, better answer. Hold on. My wife is just giving you guys everything
sorry.
because of time, my love. Let's just give him like the overview of it. What my wife just said is we pull out the pre-listing appointment checklist, is what she just said.
Yes.
And she just it's okay, baby.
Okay.
So the moment a lead comes in, number one, you'll see it on our checklist. It says, Gabe to ask a seller the following questions, refer to inbound lead list script. And that is what I just showed you right there. The lead comes in. As a real estate agent, I take the call, I ask the questions, and then afterwards, I update it into our Trello account. I have our seller leads right here. I put the address first and then the client name, as you guys can see here. This is just how we do it. You can do whatever you want to do afterwards. This works for us. We go here, we open it up, we put all the important information, client name, phone number, email, HOA, all that. And here at the bottom is just the daily updates. But for the main stuff, this is what we do here. I'll show you guys an example. This is one of our clients. Boom, description, phone number, HOA, all that stuff. And oh, look at this, pre-listing appointment checklist. I'll get to that in a quick moment. My love will explain that. Back to the pre-listing appointment checklist. So the homeowner calls us. They're interested in selling. I have the script. I have the conversation with them. And then I quickly go through this entire, my wife or whoever's in this position will go through this entire checklist. Now, they don't work off of this. My love, what do you guys do?
We work off of Trello. So we'll take this checklist, we'll paste it into Trello, and on Trello, it will appear as little tasks that you can check off once completed.
And you guys can see right here, pre-appointment listing checklist. So now we're not lost in the file. We know where it's at. Let me show you something. The moment the client's added to the CRM, you check it off. Create new folder in Google Drive, add a piece, check it off. Email the pre-qualifying package to the client, check it off. And look at that. It's now 100% complete. Question for all of you. How many of you get lost in the process? You're writing it on pieces of paper, you have it over here, over there, and you're very unorganized and there's no actual file on what you're supposed to be doing. How many of you guys struggle with that? I can't see the chat, my love.
Yes, we have 3 people. Actually, many people now are saying me.
Okay. So now with Trello, what we do is we created the checklist and there's no guessing. Guess what? You can now hire a virtual assistant to do this for you because it's a systemized process. So listen to this. Right here at the bottom, it says number, I think it's 12. Schedule a call with the seller to ask a pre-qualifying question, but this is the important part. Listen to this. It says email listing proposal, which includes a net sheet, listing agreement, SELM, and all of that. Let me show you what a listing looks like. And my love, if you want to just touch up on this here.
Yes, so this is the email template that we send to every single seller. We have it saved in the email. This gets sent to the client before Gabe goes out to meet with them. That way they have a chance to review everything. And then once Gabe calls them for that pre-qualifying script that he'll show you guys right now, he'll have in that script, hey, did you have a chance to review all of this information? And they'll say yes or no. And that also gives him an opportunity to see if the client has any objections for anything that they saw. We attach the contract, we attach the comparables, the net sheet, we attach the actual listing presentation that we might not even have to go over, but we still like to attach it anyways, so that they can review everything beforehand.
Let me show you guys how dialed in this is. Ready? Look at this. I get hired a lot out of area to sell a lot of property. So we get hired in Bay Area, we get hired in Riverside, Orange County, LA, and I fly wherever the listing is. This one here, I had an opportunity to go with our partners, our team members, Jordan and Jaden. So they were like, "Hey, Gabe, we got this listing opportunity. Come up with us." I said yes because I thought this was closer than it was. I learned later it was San Luis Obispo. I would have said yes either way. I'm just kidding. But it's 5 hours away. So the team and I prepped all week. We got the whole entire presentation ready. And shout out to, I don't know if she's here, but Cecile. Look at this amazing thing she prepared. So this was teamwork, okay? It's myself and the team. Look at this incredible breakdown for this A-type analytical personality of a client. She broke down everything on the demographic, which shows the client that we did the homework. In addition to that, we have the entire preliminary title report, or you can call it property profile. We have our entire listing presentation here, which is not opening. That's fine. We have our sales comparables. We have all the contracts, and we have the net sheet. So now the client, so you guys asked me a question a moment ago. You asked me a question. Gabe, how do we handle all the objections up front so that we don't have to sit down with the client at the table to deal with the objections? The one way that you do that is that you email your entire proposal up front. Yes, you show them the commission. Yes, you show them the list price. Yes, you show them all this information up front, your marketing plan and everything. Here's why. You give them time to review it. Question to all of you. If I tell you my commission up front and my list price up front and my comparables and the strategy up front, if I show that all up front with you as a homeowner, what does that do to you? What does that create? Drop it in the chat or open your mic. Drop it in the chat. What does that do? If I send everything to you up front and you have time to review it before our appointment, what does that do? What does it give you time to do? Drop it in the chat, team.
Open book. Hector says open book. Tatiana says to process it.
Yes, to process.
It gives me time to think, and I can't say I need time to think about it.
Correctamundo. Yes, yes, yes. I like Tatiana's answer. Make a decision. I like Tatiana's answer a lot. What else are we getting? Set the agenda, make a decision. I love it. The reason we do this up front with our client, it's because it gives them time to process the information and come up with their objections. Or if you're a true professional and it's really great information and everything's transparent, it removes all objections. Now, the reason this is really important is because when they get this and you move to the next step in the process, which is here, when you get to this process here, after you've emailed it, the entire listing proposal, and you get down here, schedule a call to ask the pre-qualifying questions. Now, Cherish has had time to review my entire email proposal. Now, let's go to the pre-qualifying script. Cherish, you can take whatever route you want to take with this. Let's just handle it. Same scenario. It's now Friday. It's now Thursday, the day before I come out to the appointment on Friday. And we're just going to have, and you've reviewed everything inside the packet. You've reviewed the commission, you reviewed the proposal, the marketing plan, the listing price. You've reviewed everything.
Okay, really quick. Sorry. Before we do that, I know we're short on time, but guys, if you have a certain personality that you want me to be, I can try and do that. So really quickly, if you want to hurry up and type what type of person you want me to be, let me know. If not, then I'll just be myself. David says D. Okay, I'll try my best.
Oh man, that's a complete opposite of who she is.
Okay.
Tatiana says D. David says D. Okay. All right. Be mean. Okay. I love it. I love it. Okay. Now I got to get into character. All right. Ring, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, Cherish.
Yes. Who's calling?
Hey, good afternoon. It's Gabe Mendez, real estate broker associate over here. Hello?
Yes.
You guys are frozen. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Let's start from the top again. Sorry, my computer froze right there.
Okay.
Ring, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello, Cherish.
Who's speaking?
Yes, this is Gabe Mendez, broker associate. We spoke the other day.
Yes. Hi.
Hey, how's it going today?
It's going. Thank you for asking.
Wonderful. Hey, well, listen, just wanted to connect with you really quickly. I told you I'd be calling you today before our appointment tomorrow at 5:30. I emailed you the information and thank you for confirming receipt of the email. I just had a few questions to ask you before our appointment tomorrow at 5:30. Is it okay if I ask you a few questions now?
Yeah, I have about a few minutes.
No problem. We'll make it really, really quick. So obviously we had a chance to send everything over and you reviewed it, correct?
Yes.
Wonderful. All right. So before I come out there, I just had a couple more questions just to confirm some details. Uh, the time you guys have a goal of moving out of state with the proceeds from the sale. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And is this sale going to be a contingent one for you?
No, it wouldn't be, but honestly, well, like I said, I don't really have a lot of time, but we did review everything. And like I mentioned before, my husband and I only wanted to sell if the numbers made sense. And
Right.
obviously the biggest thing that came up for us was the commission. It was 6%. And just after talking around, it is a little bit high. And we want to make sure that we're netting as much as possible if we're going to be leaving everything here and moving. So maybe if we can.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it sounds like so what I'm hearing you say, I just want to make sure that we're on the same page, that you and your husband want to make sure that you guys earn the most money on the sale of the property. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you guys would like a little more explanation of how the commission structure works?
Well, we know how it works.
Okay.
It's given to you, and then
Do you guys understand the breakdown of how the commission structure works, where it goes and where the funds are allocated?
no.
That's okay. No problem. That's exactly why I'm calling today. So tomorrow when I get there, I'll spend a little more time on the commission structure. So this way you and your husband understand the money that you're paying us to sell your home, where that's going to go exactly. Make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. We'll take care of that. Awesome. And last couple of questions for you. I know you have last 2 minutes. As long as I come out there tomorrow, you and your husband feel comfortable and confident with me that I can get it sold. You guys trust me. You love the plan. You're planning on listing the property with me, correct?
I don't want to say yes because obviously we haven't met with you yet, and my husband also has a big say in it. So we'll have to see. Like I said, just as long as the numbers make sense.
Okay, perfect. Did you guys have any other questions regarding the proposal I sent over outside of the numbers?
No, it was mainly the commission and also how much it's going to be listed for. We just thought that it would be, we could sell it for more. I mean, we've done a lot of upgrades to it, and it's just not what we were expecting.
Perfect. Quick question for you and your husband. There's a difference between a list price and a sales price. Are you guys aware of that?
No,
Okay. Are you guys aware how we use a list price to achieve your sales price? The strategy we use?
no.
No? Okay, no problem. So I'll make sure to spend a little more time tomorrow on the list price strategy so we can achieve your sales price. Make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, perfect. And just so I have it on record, what's the sales goal we're looking to hit?
We're looking to hit 1.3.
1.3 million. Perfect. Okay. All right. And why is that number important to you?
Just because we have kept our eye also on the market, or at least on our neighborhood, and some of the houses have been selling for 1.25, and we feel with all of the upgrades that we've made that there's no reason why we can't get 1.3 or even more than that. Especially with also the market. Like I said, we've been looking at it, and it's a good time for us to sell if it makes sense. Only if we hit that number.
Okay. So just so we're clear, if you guys don't hit the $1.3 million, you guys are staying here in San Diego and you're not moving and you're keeping your family here forever. Is that correct?
Yes. And also I am very transparent. So we did also speak to someone else who said that they were able to get us 1.3. That wouldn't be an issue. So that's also where the hesitation comes from with seeing your proposal.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That was actually going to be my next question. So aside from myself, you are interviewing one other agent, or are there more than one other agent?
We had a couple of conversations, but we haven't met with anyone.
Okay, perfect. And when are those appointments scheduled for?
We're not sure yet.
Also, those appointments haven't been scheduled, just to be clear.
Yes, not yet.
Perfect. Okay. And just so part of my services, one thing that, as you can tell through my business, is everything's very transparent. So what I want to do for you, just as part of my services, and make sure that the people that you're interviewing are actually licensed and insured broker agents. So what I'll do is I'm going to look up their license number for you so that you guys are hiring somebody who's actually reputable, licensed, and insured. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't have their name on me right now. I would have to look for it later, but
No problem. What I'll do is I'll put it on a brief pause. Can you do me a favor and at least pull up their license number that's on their business card or the email signature?
yeah, I mean, I don't have it with me right now. I'm in the middle of something and I have to head out the door, so maybe I can try and look for it later.
Okay. Would there be a better time tonight for us to finish this conversation? Just because I do have about 4 more questions that I have to answer, and I'd like to have your full attention and your husband's as well.
Yeah, we can try and get through them now. I'm saying I don't have the card on me and they didn't email me. It was just a phone conversation.
Okay. And then how did you guys find this agent?
Uh, it was a referral from someone that my husband works with.
Okay. And was there anything interesting about the conversation that you had that is prompting you to take this conversation?
I don't understand your question.
Is there anything interesting in the conversation that you had with that agent that is prompting you to take the appointment with them?
Well, they said that we could get 1.3, no question.
And did they tell you that during the initial phone call?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know how they were able to come up to that evaluation without running a sales market analysis report?
I don't.
Okay. Can I be honest with you and tell you why that worries me?
Yes.
Here's the only concern that I have with it. The way that I look at this in your estate that you're selling, and your family's next move, for me, this is something that I take seriously. And so when we asked to meet early this week, I had asked for 3 days because I wanted enough time to run an actual accurate sales market analysis report. And when there's another agent who's willing to give you an answer, right then and give you an analysis or a diagnosis, I should call it, of your property's value, it worries me. The way that I look at that is the way I look at a doctor. If I go to the doctor's office and I go there and I tell them that I'm having a problem, which is what you told this agent, we want to sell our home. And that doctor would tell me, great, lay on the operation table. Let me cut you open and give you a solution right now without looking further into my situation. It would worry me. It would worry me that they don't have their practice dialed in. It would worry me that they're not licensed. It would worry me that they're not taking the time to truly hear my needs and they just want to get the procedure done. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I would probably, if it's okay with you, I would probably just table that conversation for now. Any agent that's willing to give you an answer over the phone and hasn't done their research isn't an agent worth talking to. If you guys feel after meeting with me that you need a couple of referrals, I'll be glad to refer you to a couple of professional partners that I have. But I truly feel that after our meeting, we'll have a solid discussion and you'll feel comfortable moving forward with me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. All right. So then if you'd like, just out of respect, what I can do for you, if the need be, I can call that broker for you, have the conversation with them and let them know, hey, that we met with Mr. and Mrs. Mendez, and they decided to go ahead and hire me. They wanted me to call you and thank you for your time and your services, but they ended up hiring our agency to help them sell the home. Would that be helpful if that situation arises?
Yeah, I think so.
Perfect. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that information with me, Ms. Cherish. Really appreciate that. And then just moving forward, last couple of questions. So as long as you and your husband fully understand the commission structure and how that works, we can help you achieve the 1.3 sales price, and then you guys feel comfortable with my marketing plan. Then you guys obviously do plan on listing with me. Is that correct?
Yeah, I would say yes.
Okay, perfect. So then what I want to do, I want to make sure that this meeting tomorrow is meaningful. What we'll do is we'll spend most of our time on the compensation plan, how the commission structure works, so you understand where the money that you're paying is going to dollar for dollar. And then number two, we'll talk about how the list strategy will help you net the sales price that you're looking for. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. And then last question before I head out there, just so you know, our meeting should only take about 35 to 45 minutes. I'll walk around the home. I'll take some notes on what the property is going to look like. We'll go over the questions and concerns that you had. We'll answer the questions about the paperwork, get everything signed, and then we'll get the plan going. Sound good?
Yep, sounds good.
Okay, Ms. Cherish. You guys have a wonderful afternoon. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow at 5:30.
Okay, you too.
All right. Thank you. All right.
Guys, I tried so hard to be a D.
Did you say you tried so hard to be a what?
I tried so hard to be the D personality.
Oh man, I'm so upset that we're at 10 o'clock already.
I know.
I felt like this was really good and we were flowing through it really well. It was a good flow for sure. Okay, I would like to get some feedback since you guys heard that live dialogue. What your thoughts were and what your takeaways were. Yeah, I wish we had more time.
Says, that was awesome. Hector said, this is amazing.
Awesome. Cherish, from your perspective, can you tell us what that was like having to have that conversation and going back and forth?
I think that I definitely felt when I had said that the other person quoted me 1.3, you immediately asked how and if they had done research before, if that was just something that they told you on the initial phone call. You basically said that they didn't, that they were just telling me what I wanted to hear and they didn't do any research, but in the best way. So I felt like immediately my confidence of being mean was like, oh, dang, he's right. I have to come down and be quiet. So
Let me ask all of you, a question. What's the most effective way of learning? What's the most effective way of learning a habit or a new trait, a new skill? What's the most effective way of gaining wisdom? What's the most effective way of doing it? Can someone tell me? Someone says practicing. I love practicing.
Implementing it.
Someone says implementation.
Role playing.
So all of those answers are correct. Let me give you the foundation of learning. Let me give you the foundation of learning. The foundation of learning is self-discovery. The teacher will appear when the student is ready. What does that mean? That if I want you as my prospect, as my homeowner to learn something, I have to get you to self-discover it. I cannot tell you what I want you to tell you. Selling is not telling. Selling is asking really great questions. So if I want my prospect to learn something new, I have to get them to self-discover. I'll give you a prime example for all of you parents out there and your little kids that you have. We all know that when the stove is on, if that baby were to go over there and put their hand on el comal or on the stove, that their hand is going to get burnt. We know that for a fact. We already know that. But the baby doesn't know that. The toddler doesn't know that. And no matter how many times you tell them no, they laugh and they run away and they think it's a game. And it's not until they self-discover, they discover for themselves that it's actually hot and they put their hand on it, do they get burned and say, ooh, I'm not going to do that again. So if you want to help your prospects learn, if you want to get them to respect you differently and look at you like the authority, get your prospect to self-discover. How do you get them to self-discover? You ask them really good questions. Mrs. Cherish, let me ask you, how was that agent able to get you a proposal that quickly over the phone? Did they run a sales market analysis report? Did they do an appraisal? Well, actually, no, they didn't. Then how were they able to give you that quick answers? I actually don't know how they did that. Oh, well, can I tell you why that worries me? Yeah. Well, that worries me because if I went to the doctor and I told them that my knee was hurting and they gave me a diagnosis on the spot and they wanted to cut me open, I'd be a little afraid that maybe this guy isn't a licensed practitioner. That's malpractice. So now I'm worried that this agent you're talking to doesn't know what they're doing because it just diagnosed you over the phone. See, I needed 3 days to get you this proposal because I needed to give you an accurate answer because this is important to me, just like it's important to your family. So I hope you can respect that I took my time and that I'm not just wanting to sell your home, but I'm actually wanting to help you make the best move possible. You self-discover, and Cherish said, my love, when that happened, Hector says, humble shark. Cherish, when I did that for you and I helped you self-discover, did it help you? How did you feel about the other agent?
I felt like they made me like not smart in the moment because I believed what they said.
Yeah. Yeah, it discounted them.
Yeah.
It discounted the other realtor on the side. So with that, I'm just going to show you guys a quick snippet of the rest of everything else. I'm just going to give you the fast version. I didn't expect us to go so long in the small details of it, but it's just the way that it happened. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys something. Let me show you the rest of it. I'm going to give you guys a 3-minute version of what would have taken us probably 4 more days to do it. So you have the pre-qualifying script. This is where you handle all the, so you ask me a question, how do you get ahead of all the objections? When you send your proposal in advance and they have an opportunity to dissect it and they have a bunch of unanswered questions, it's really important that during that pre-qualifying script that you're identifying those needs. And you can tell I didn't go off of this 100% because I couldn't. She was a high D personality. And she was telling me right off the bat that, hey, I don't have a lot of time. So what did I do? I didn't sit there like a doctor would be and feel disrespected that my patient doesn't have time for me. You know what, Miss Cherish? Is there a better time where you and your husband will have more time to sit down? This is very important for me. And if you don't make it important, they're not going to make it important. If you make it important, they'll make it important. They would never talk to their doctor this way. They would never speak to their attorney this way. And if I want them to know that I'm on the same level as the rest of the professionals, then I need to act like it. And I have to respect my own time. So, Mrs. Cherish, is there a better time for us to do that? And do you see how she switched up real quick? No, actually, I mean, I have time right now, but and I had to get her to calm down. I had to get her to come to my speed. I couldn't go up to her speed and play her game. You have to play my game. And I do that by asking very respectful questions, but with an authoritative tonality. One where she knows this guy isn't playing, but he's so nice at the same time, but he's not playing. And I have to get her to understand that. So I want you guys to practice that. Now I know her objections and what the problems are. And now that I know what those issues are, I can prepare for those tomorrow. Now I know she's going to have a commission objection. Now I know she's going to have a list price objection. All I have to do is prepare my listing presentation to answer those two questions. And as long as I do that effectively, by the end of it, I've already planted the seed that we're going to get this signed tomorrow. Hey, as long as everything makes sense, you're planning on listing with me, correct? Hey, so it sounds like as long as I handle this commission and this listing price, and you guys feel comfortable with me, you're going to list with me, correct? The second time I asked that question. And then I future paced her at the very end. I future paced Cherish. Cherish, this is what's going to happen. Number one, I'm going to walk over, I'm going to go to your home. It's going to take 45 minutes. I'm going to tour the entire property. I'm going to answer your two questions about the commission and the list price. And afterwards, we'll go over the paperwork. We'll get everything signed and we'll just start the plan. Does that sound good? And she was like, yeah, that sounds good. Now she knows what to expect tomorrow. I future paced her and I tied her down to that. So these are some really important sales tactics. And unfortunately, because of time, we didn't have time to break it all down, but we do have a step number 2. We do have a next steps email after the client hires us, what the email looks like. We do have a coming soon procedure. We do have a just listed procedure. We do have an escrow procedure. We do have a escrow close procedure. So all of these procedures we have dialed in and everything is inside of our Trello. And the moment the client goes from a seller lead to an upcoming listing appointment to they didn't sign. Oh, you guys can't look at that because I don't want you guys taking my leads. I'm just kidding. Let me stop sharing that with you guys over there. But anyhow, this is how we do it the entire time. So I wish we had a little more time to go over that in detail. But before we end everything, you guys can, well, number one, thank you guys for hanging in. My love. Thank you for spending time with me this morning and doing that. Can you guys give it up for Miss Cherish, my love, my wife? Give her a round of applause. She did an amazing job at being a D personality. Thank you, babe. I really appreciate you sticking that out with me there. And
hey, Gabe, I have a really quick announcement. If you don't mind me, if anybody's in the city of Whittier today or near Whittier, Crystal Ramirez and myself, we are hosting a content creation day at 11 to 2 at her listing. It is a gorgeous listing. So if you guys are nearby, go to one of our pages to get the details. But it's from 11 to 2. We're going to film videos with all of you guys and then host the Brokers Open. So you guys are all welcome to come.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. And before we get out there, we're going to go ahead and any final questions for you guys before we head out? I want to make sure we answer some questions. I know I have about 5 minutes before my next call. My love, do you have about 5 minutes?
Yes. And there's no questions yet in the chat.
Cherish can answer the questions from the administrative side, and you guys have me for the next 5 minutes on the sales side or process side. So fire away for the next couple of minutes. Drop it in the chat. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are very welcome. You're very welcome.
Also, before a question comes in, I think it's so important to have all of your systems and all of your steps documented, even for those of you who have been in the industry for a long time and you already know, like, no, I don't need to have it down on a checklist because I already know what to do. I know what to prep. I know exactly what to do. it's not scalable that way. So yes, you can do it, but eventually you should be able to get an assistant that you can give that role to, delegate all of those things to, number one. And number two, it's just better to have the checklist all written down. That way you are executing it with excellence and you're not out here showing properties, taking phone calls for other listings, and then, oh, wait, I have to make sure, did I do that? I can't remember if I did that. You'll have a checklist to keep you all in check.
Good final words, my love. I appreciate that. Okay, team. Well, you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you guys for joining, and we might do a part two, just because it looks like we didn't get through 70% of it. So we'll try to plan on it and work on it. We'll talk to you guys in a bit about it. But God bless you guys. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you guys on the next Winter Circle Wednesday call.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you guys. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey,
Thank
babe.
you.
Thank you guys. That was fire, man.
Dude, you're very welcome, bro. Appreciate you guys on that.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be in touch today.